All right, well, why don't we go ahead and get started? Thanks for joining today. My name's Jamie Klein. I'm one of the partners here at Simplicity, and I've got to say, I'm actually extremely excited about this new partnership, and I'm excited about what we're going to share today because I've seen how it's helped advisors. And I know as advisors, we're always looking for new ideas. We're looking for ways to separate ourselves from the competition. You know, what's going to move the needle for your practice? And I can personally say I've seen advisors use this tool, and I've seen their production go through the roof. And I believe it's something that it's not only going to change your business, but it's going to change the way you prospect. And that's why I'm excited about introducing our presenter today, because he knew there had to be a better way. He knew there had to be a better way to communicate with his clients. So in 2012, he created this tool. And when he implemented this story into his practice, it allowed him to capture over $44 million of new assets in just 8 months. And then in 2014, he was named Advisor of the Year. So whatever you're doing, whether it be seminars, radio, working with Fed employees, teachers, business owners, this is something you can incorporate into your practice. And it's going to allow you to start building up your own referral system and building up your own pipeline. And I've been doing this for 15, 16 years, and I've got to say this is one of the best communication tools, one of the best prospecting tools I've ever seen. So without further ado, let me introduce you to our speaker today, Jason Jenkins, creator of AssetLock.
Oh, Jamie, thank you so much. I sure appreciate that warm introduction. And thank you to everybody for being on this webinar here today. So excited to share with you, obviously, about AssetLock. So we're calling it AssetLock 2.0. But what I'm about to go over today, when it comes to AssetLock, it is something that has truly, it's changed my life. And I've watched it change the lives of many advisors. You know, I'd say, Jason, that's a pretty bold statement, but it has. And it's a tool that's so powerful in separating you from your competition, allowing you to effectively communicate with prospects in a meaningful way that we're going to go over here today. And it's something that you can easily implement inside your practice and get going. You know, just to kind of share a couple quick success stories, probably our biggest. I met an advisor back in 2014, and I shared with him the AssetLock story like I'm going to go to today. And I said, do these things and implement this. He was about a $5 million producer and did a couple million in AUM. And this last Christmas, I was with him, and we celebrated because he'd done over $80 million of new business, and over 50 of that was in fixed indexed annuities. And so, Jason, thank you so much for helping out over the years, helping guide me, and I'm grateful that AssetLock is a part of my practice. Another quick story for you. We just had somebody who just signed up with AssetLock about 3-4 months ago, and they've collected and done over $12 million in that short period of time, and they're just watching their annuity production explode and life insurance because of the power of what this story is and what it means to them. So to kind of take a quick step back, as Jamie mentioned, you know, I've been in this industry now for over 20 years, and I go back to 2007. I decided to get my Series 65 at that point, and I walked into 2008, and I'm sure like many of you on this call, if you've been in the industry, you really watched a lot of investors took a lot of damage and really got hurt from that crisis that took place. And coming out of that into 2009, I just began to ask myself, there's just got to be a better way. There's got to be a better way to help investors become a better investor and help the advisor help those clients. And so as I began to walk into that, I kind of went on this little bit of a mission or a quest, as I like to talk, and I wanted to know, why do investors fail? And what I'm about to share with you here became the cornerstone for the book that I wrote, 5 Rules Every Investor Must Break. And so if you've got a pen as I go through this, recommend that you write some of this information down. But really, these 4 cornerstones help to answer why they fail. The first is clients' inability to control their emotions. And the research that sits behind this comes from the Dalbar study. So the Dalbar study for the last 30 years has researched this and confirmed that investors are very good at doing one thing. They buy high, they sell low, and they repeat that pattern over and over. And really where this comes in is that their inability to create an environment, or the advisor creating an environment for them so that they can tamper down those emotions. And you're about to see here in a second how AssetLock helps control those emotions. Second, unreasonable expectations. And I know 1 or 2 have clients that have unreasonable expectations. And where this comes from is 2 bits of research about behavioral finance and neurofinance. Behavioral finance is the study of us as human beings from a behavioral standpoint. This comes about how we're shaped, how we think about money from a behavioral perspective. But neurofinance is the study of us from a biological perspective, how we're made. And this is where fear and greed really collide and that they've studied. And what's fascinating is that actually fear has a greater biological reaction than greed. And this begins to set those unreasonable expectations by your clients. And again, I'm going to share with you how AssetLock helps frame more of a realistic expectation inside of that. Third is communication breakdown. This is by far the number one reason why clients fire their financial advisors. In fact, the research here came out of the Advisor magazine that said 72%, this is financial advisors, said they raised their own hands. 72% of the reason that they were fired was lack of timely communication. And I understand it because being an advisor, I mean, you're busy. You're getting new business. You're seeing your current clients. You're running it. How do you effectively and consistently communicate so that you're not fired because you're not communicating in the way that they were expecting it? And again, you'll see here how AssetLock addresses that. And then lastly, and this really surprised me, was lack of transparency and trust, that 66% of investors simply do not trust their current investment firms. So these are investors that are engaged with an advisor of their firm, and they don't trust it. And so the more that I reflect on that, what it makes me think is when you look at all of these other components, lack of controlling emotions, unreasonable expectations, and breakdown on communication, to me it comes down to one thing, that the advisor has not created an environment for that investor to succeed. And that is part of this breakdown that's taking place. And then as a practitioner, I began to see this firsthand myself. And so taking all of this and finishing up my book, I realized that what do investors really want to know? So when they go to hire a financial advisor, what are the things that they care about and what they want to know at any given time? And it really comes down to these two questions. They want to know, how much money do I have, and what are you doing as my financial advisor in order to protect it? And they're not talking about a portion of it. They're talking about all of it. But what they want to be communicated is in their language, not our language, not about betas and Sharpe ratios and standard deviations. They want to be focused in on, I gave you $100,000, and I know what 10% of that looks like and what that means. That's my language on how I want to be communicated with. Well, from that and from all this research, this is exactly was the path of how AssetLock was born and what AssetLock is. What is AssetLock? It is a communication tool that simply monitors a client's account every single day with a predetermined that they've set day one of the willingness that they're willing to tolerate when it comes to the losses, which really is a communication point for them. And what you'll be able to see here is that it helps control and address those four things. It sets the expectations. It helps communicate in a timely manner. And so you find yourself creating an environment for AssetLock to do one thing. So if you've got a pen, just write this down. The one thing that AssetLock does an excellent job for investors is it helps them become a better investor. And when we do that, that enables you, the advisor, to create that environment that attracts more investors and helps grow your business. So the great thing about AssetLock Personal is that you're able to put this on any account, any 401k account, 403b, 457, TSP plan. And what you'll see is it actually turns into this amazing prospecting component to where maybe you can't engage with this person today, but how would you like to put this meaningful communication along with your brand around it? And so what are those benefits? It increases client retention. You'll find that it provides you access to untapped retirement accounts that you never would get your hands on. It gives you a competitive advantage out in the marketplace. It's a powerful lead generation tool. And because of this, it gives you that opportunity to market in ways that maybe you weren't able to do before. So how does AssetLock work? The best part about AssetLock, and I think one of the reasons why it's been so successful, is its simplicity and because it communicates, like I said, the way an investor wants it to. So the first thing is we naturally have the client's investment portfolio, and then the client selects their communication point. So you can see from -7 all the way down to -25. But in this case, we're just going to assume that the client selects the -10. And so by selecting that, AssetLock, it wraps itself around the entire portfolio. So what we communicate is what your clients are interested in, is how much of my total money did go up, or did that go down? And again, this, as simple as it might sound, this is what creates that environment for your client to say, yeah, that's what I'm interested in, what I want to know. So this next chart is probably the most used point of sale chart that we have, along with some other animated videos that have helped communicate this, and clients understand it pretty easy. So I'm kind of going to go into seminar mode a little bit here to kind of give this illustration just to see the impact. So let's assume that the client came in and they selected to have an asset lock of 10%. So I might pick, let's just say Susan was sitting in the front of the room, and I'd say, so great, Susan. So you come in and you sit down and you have a portfolio of $100,000, and so we have an asset lock of 10%. So Susan, how much is 10% of 100,000? And obviously it should be 10,000. So 100,000 minus $10,000 would make the asset lock value $90,000. So I would turn around and I would say, Susan, let me ask you this question. How would it make you feel if you knew for the very first time, me as your advisor, you've got this great tool that's monitoring it every single day? How would that make you feel? And Susan would be like, wow, that would make me feel great. Or, man, I feel like I could really do this. And then I would turn around and say, well, Susan, it's interesting that you say that, because that's exactly how it makes our clients feel at Jenkins Wealth Management, which is why we're so passionate and about why clients deserve to have this kind of tool in place. And then I'd turn around right after and say, so Susan, what would happen if I took AssetLock away? And then she goes, oh, wow, that wouldn't make me feel good at all. Well, Susan, would you like me to put that back? And she's like, yeah, please. Before I would do that, I'd say to the entire audience, if you do not have AssetLock around your portfolio, this is exactly how you're invested. You're invested on the premise of hope. You're hoping that your financial institution or your financial advisor is going to call you at a predetermined point, or you're going to be communicated with around your portfolio. And at Jenkins Wealth Management, we just believe that clients deserve that better transparency and better communication when it comes around their money. Everyone in the room's like, oh my gosh, I don't like that feeling at all. And it really illustrates what's taking place in terms of the communication. So then I go back to Susan, I'd say, so Susan, if you notice here that every time the account reaches a new high, what happens to the floor? And they go, oh, it moves up with it. And what's really great, Susan, is that AssetLock is a technology company, and so it records these. And so imagine, Susan, you wake up on a Saturday morning and you get a message from AssetLock that says, congratulations, your account has reached an all-time new high. Wouldn't that be pretty cool if you got one of those? And everyone's like, oh, yeah, that'd be awesome. And I have to tell everybody on this call, it's one of the best features about AssetLock. And what it's doing is it's helping that investor feel that you're there and that we're monitoring this. And there's other things that we monitor and package up, like on a monthly basis. Congratulations, you've received dividends inside the portfolio. Really reinforcing and creating an environment that lets them know that you're there and that you have tools in place to help them execute this relationship. And so, as you can see, the account reaches an all-time high at the $146,793, and then the AssetLock is the $132,114, and I kind of want to zoom in on that particular leg right there. So at AssetLock, we have what we call as our alert communication, and so green is good, and really this is something that the client can actually, here we're illustrating being down 7.5% off of the high. They can actually shorten this up if they want to. This is all driven by the investor at a communication point that they want. But if it triggers yellow, we simply notify them that, hey, it's gone from green to yellow, and this could be around their 401k or whatever it might be. And what we're instilling in them is, again, putting communication around this portfolio so that they feel that they go, yes, I can do this because I know that there's something they're monitoring on a daily basis. Again, AssetLock, it does one thing. It helps that investor become a better investor because of this tool. And then if it triggers the AssetLock, maybe they want to sit down at that time with their HR department or call up Vanguard and say, hey, what's taking place? How did we get here? Is there something I should know about inside my portfolio that I should rebalance? And it's that simple, this simple tool and this simple communication point really increases that engagement and allows an investor to have confidence in what's taking place. And then as you can see here next, we have these beautifully co-branded messages. We talk about partnership. It truly is about a partnership. And so everything that we do at AssetLock is focused on that. So I could not be more excited about this next part, about where AssetLock is and where it's going. And yes, we created an AssetLock app for the consumer as well as the advisor. And I want to talk about why we did that and how that works. So first of all, the app is both in Android and Apple. So it's across all platforms. So you can go into the App Store right now as we're doing this, and you can actually download that. And this is what the app does for you, the advisor, and the client. It streamlines the communication. You're about to see there's never been a communication tool like this built in our industry to help promote and support your business. It delivers referrals in the easiest manner that we're starting to see out in the marketplace. It simplifies the access. Your clients, they want everything in one spot, and they want it to be communicated around. And that's exactly what we've done, is we've simplified that access to deliver what your clients are looking for. It enhances the advisor brand. What you're about to see is we make this about the advisor and your brand as well. And we want to keep you top of mind. Keeping you top of mind is not getting lost in junk emails or having to sit in front of the desktop. It's in their pockets where all of our phones are, and that's exactly what this app does. Did you know that 7 out of 10 adults 50 plus, they actually own a smartphone now? They think in the next 12 to 14 months, it's now going to be closer to about 8.5, and quickly growing. Did you know that 88% of adults 50 plus now use their smartphone for IMS and emails? And so what is that? That's communication. This 50 plus age group are buying these devices, and they're quickly adapting it to use this as a form of communication. 66% of adults 50 plus use their smartphone to download or purchase an app. And they're projecting this, and again, this information comes from ARP Digital Trends, that's going to be at 85 plus in the next 14 to 18 months. And so the other data that's behind this is that we're finding users would rather actually be in an app than surf a website on their phone, because you can control the experience. It's a much richer experience. And so pretty amazing on how this group is adapting to actually interacting. I put this on there because I couldn't believe how much time we're actually spending in these apps on a daily basis. Like somebody's got a little too much time on their hands. This next bit of information, baby boomers spend 11 hours or more on Facebook each week. And I want to tie a correlation back to this 11 hours and the 88%. Facebook is reshifting the way that this generation is communicating. They're going on to Facebook and they are liking, they're sharing, they're following their family and friends. And this behavior pattern about using these smart devices on simple communication. But this next piece of data is the one that really kind of blew me away, is that baby boomers now are 19% more likely to share content than compared to any other generation. And at first that kind of took me back on, like, more than my 15-and-a-half-year-old son. And the answer is yes. And if you go back to the information I just shared, they're liking, they're sharing, they're using these devices to communicate. And so these are the reasons why we took this powerful message of AssetLock right into the palm of your consumer's hands so that they could not only engage it, but you'll see here in a second, refer you and share your story. So when they download, they come to this very simple interface. They can learn more about AssetLock, they can learn more about privacy and security, but they simply just put in their email address and hit continue. Then they come to this registration page, and then something that we've done at AssetLock to protect you and your business is every advisor is given their own unique code, so that when you're out there, they cannot register for AssetLock without getting an advisor code. And so if you're doing radio, seminars, you're actually given this code that you can promote, so you make sure that you get credit for all of your efforts. And so at AssetLock, we took it a step further. We actually developed codes, so if you wanted to measure, well, this is what I'm doing on radio, and this is what I'm doing at a seminar, we can actually assign a code for each one of your marketing efforts, so you can measure that. And the advisors that are using it, they absolutely love it. So they put in the advisor code, They put in their first name, last name, and a password, and they do this once. And when they do that, they come to this beautiful and simple interface. And as you can see, we made this all about the advisor. They come in, they see your photo, they see your name, and they see your brand, your logo. The second thing that we did is that, let's say you were on TV or you wrote a newsletter, literally one push of a button into our system, you're going to be able to communicate with all of your clients. It's not getting lost. And of course, this is the AssetLock part where everything is consolidated right into this one area. They can view all their accounts, they can set up alerts, and yes, they can register their AssetLock from this phone in 3 simple steps right from there. They don't have to be in front of their computer to attach AssetLock to it. The sub-navigation that we created, there's this Connect section. And in the Connect section, this is all about you, the financial advisor. So you can put your profile in there. You can actually put your entire team in there as well, and how they interact with your firm, pull in your website. This entire section is all about you. Any kind of social media links you have, it resides in the Connect section. The service section is pretty cool as well. This is, think about just like your service section on your website, where you get to customize. It could be Social Security, estate planning, whatever services that you want the user to know about you. Just like on your website, you get to customize and build out. And you could, again, put PDFs in here, videos. You could link out to third parties. Really, this is an opportunity for you to express what you offer. The AssetLock section, again, it supports the message behind that. And yes, you're actually able to put annuities in this app as well as life insurance. And we think this is a really important thing for you and your business. As an advisor who has sold annuities and life insurance, I don't know if anybody out there can relate with this experience where you sell an annuity and then the anniversary date comes. And all of a sudden you're sitting back in front of your client and like, hey, Jason, this is great. I've got this Allianz annuity. Can you help remind me, why did I buy this? Were the features? And I find myself reselling this all over again. So we thought it only made sense to be able to put the general information of the annuity in here, like the values and then the top features of this contract, like your principal's protected. It has an income rider, an ADL doubler, or here's the strength of the company. Because as this device sits in their pocket and we ping them with the AssetLock, we're empowering them with the message so that maybe they're out with their family and friends and they're like, oh yeah, that's right, my advisor, they got me on this, this great fixed index annuity. They're able to articulate the benefits to a potential prospect. And we've seen that take place with AssetLock as well as this, and carrying that message as to what you're doing for them. So really excited about that part of the app. We put an alert icon. It's kind of, think of it like a shortcut. So for anybody who gets the alerts and they don't want to log in, they can just simply click on that icon and see what accounts hit new highs or dividends or deposits. We put a contact advisor button, telephone, your email address, and Google Maps. And then the last section, I think this app is great. But this is where taking this app to a whole new level about generating referrals and making this super easy. And clients share a link and pass on. Kind of wanted to walk through an example. Let's say your client is on the golf course, says, why are you so chipper today, Bob? And says, my financial advisor has this new app that tracks my 401k, and it just notified me that my account has reached an all-time new high. He says, well, that sounds pretty convenient. I actually have no idea how my retirement account is doing. How much does that cost and how can I get it? He says it's free and I can text that information to you right this second. And this is what we've seen take place. And as soon as he makes that text, this is what happens. The individual who wanted it gets that text message, and what's embedded is your advisor code right there. They download it, put the advisor code in that, and the moment that takes place, that lead is then sent over to you, the AssetLock Equipped advisor. It truly is that easy, and that's what we're seeing with the advisors that are implementing this inside their practice. So I'm a seminar guy, and so I kind of wanted to show how I would use this actually in a seminar. I would actually use this on the front side of the seminar, maybe about 10 minutes before it started. If it was on Social Security or whatever topic I was doing, I would say, hey, great, we're going to start in about 10 minutes. If everyone could pull out your phones, I'd like you to text this number and this code and download this app. And on there, there's a special link, and I put it in the service section about Social Security. We've got some really great content that we're going to be going over there. Oh, and we like to have fun at our workshops. And so at the end, we're going to be giving away a free dinner or some kind of raffle prize. And my office manager is going to walk around and all you got to do is just show her that you downloaded that, and we're going to give you a raffle ticket at the end. So what just happened? You just grabbed everybody in the room, all their information, and then inside it, maybe the backside of the seminar, you have a bonus material talking about AssetLock, and they're like, wow, this is great. And say, well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen, you already have the app on your phone. And everybody in that room, you've got all their contacts. I mean, you could do this in front of a room of 1,000 people. Again, making this super powerful. We had an advisor I met on Monday of this week, and yesterday he integrated AssetLock into his seminar, and he's doing it again today. I mean, that's how fast you can get up and begin to use this tool. If you're doing any kind of mass media, TV, radio, we have the radio scripts for you. We have everything that's been proven, tried and true about just getting hundreds of people coming in the door. So again, it really is allowing you to leverage the message, leverage your time, and we're watching advisors do some really amazing things. So all of those leads, an advisor dashboard, so you can export these leads, you can put them into your MailChimp, you can set up a follow-up campaign, again, making it very, very convenient on how to track these leads and export them. But I want to ask this question, and hopefully you've kind of, maybe you're asking yourself this. Well, Jason, so prospect or client downloads this app. The question I want to know is, can I still communicate if they never sync up to the AssetLock? And that answer is yes. This tool just goes to another step further when it comes to communication. So if you remember that post section on the app, the moment that they download that, if you had the special code, you would know they came from a seminar, they came from the radio, so you could actually target content. I mean, so powerful when you really begin to think about how fast and how viral this could move into, where they're sharing this app. And so that's what I wanted to kind of talk about next, and what we're actually seeing with advisors that are deploying and using the app. A couple of weeks ago, an advisor approached a couple of business owners and said, I've got this great tool called AssetLock, and here's how it's going to benefit you, Mr. Business Owner, and all your employees. He said, one of the biggest challenges we have with being a business owner in 401ks is getting clients to engage. And so he said, I've got this free tool that will communicate around it. He explained how AssetLock worked. The business owners got so excited, they asked the advisor to come back and present in front of all their employees. So he got up, did a short presentation that we already have for you, presented it, and what came from that? Well, one, the business owners are now saying, hey, this is not only great, what else do you do? And the advisor was actually getting first-time appointments from this. He's actually seen a second tier of referrals come in, of people sharing the message. Government employees, anybody who targets the TSP plans or anything along those lines, schools and universities, military, nonprofit employees, untapped client prospects. This tool can be used for anybody, and it should be. I mean, clients deserve to have this kind of communication. And again, we made it very convenient for you and your business to share that message. So pretty interesting information. I didn't know if you knew this, but the average client's 401k from the age of 60 to 69 is 160,000. And I want to talk about how fast you could build up a pipeline of prospects. So if you just only had 50 people that met that criteria, you'd have 8 million in your AssetLock account. 100 people is 16, and only 200 is $32 million. In this pipeline, we're pinging them on your behalf. You're putting out a message. It's meaningful communication, and they're sharing it. So think about this. What happens if one of those 200, they quit their job or they get fired or anything like that happens? We're pointing them right back to you. They're going to want to sit down and go, well, man, this Jason Jenkins guy in this AssetLock, I'd like to learn more about what I might be able to do, because the information I'm getting in the communication, this is truly incredible. Maybe one of those prospects still has their job, but they just inherited all this money. Who might they be thinking about first over their advisor? You. And why do I say that so passionately? This is exactly what I've seen happen. Again, we've been using this tool since 2011, and these are the kind of success stories. You've got your app, and you're starting to see, you can see in the left-hand corner where it says $51 million. Hey, this is what I have that's connected to me and my business. And this is the households, and these are the numbers, and you get to communicate to that. What other tool out there allows you to do something like this, to build up an additional pipeline and be able to communicate it? It just simply doesn't. And that's why we're seeing the success stories, and we're so excited about it. And why I'm so passionate is I love seeing advisors move beyond what their business goals are, and AssetLock is helping do that. So what is the future? Hopefully you're excited and seeing the value of that, but I want to talk about what we're going to be doing with Simplicity and the value of AssetLock moving forward is we are going to build a national brand. Just like people have come to know LifeLock monitors clients for their credit, people are going to come to know that AssetLock is there to help monitor their investment accounts. And that brand is associated with people like yourself who are on this call, independent advisors. That's who I am. That's what I believe in. And I believe the future is independent advisors that care about investors, because AssetLock, I want to repeat, does one thing. It helps investors become a better investor. And when we serve others and we help them, great things come from that. Second, we are going to create consumer AssetLock leads. Once our partnerships are in place, we are going to generate, and we are generating consumer leads that we plan to distribute. So if you like leads, they basically want to hand over the entire relationship, make the suggestion of a fixed index annuity and life insurance and AUM. That is what we are going to be doing. And we're really excited about what we're developing for the future around our partners. We have, lastly, just an amazing amount of support. Like I said, we've been using this since 2011. We have all the sales and marketing material that you could possibly imagine. Seminars, brochures, white papers, videos, all this co-branding material, things that we know that work, and the advisors that are using are seeing it firsthand. Had an advisor use one of our white papers, closed a $600,000 case because of one of the white papers that we supported him with. We have an entire team that sits behind this to support you and your staff in getting you trained and getting AssetLock implemented. So know that all of this material is there for you, and all you gotta do is just grab it and go. So hopefully you're asking yourself, Jason, this sounds really amazing. How do I become an AssetLock Equipped advisor? So it's pretty easy. The first is download the app. So as you're listening to this, grab your phones and go to the App Store and just download the AssetLock app right on your device and have your staff do it. Second, I want you to connect with your business coach or your marketer and just simply ask them, okay, how do I get this advisor code? You literally could be using AssetLock this afternoon. That's how easy it is for you to gain and get access to this. And that's why I use that advisor. He signed up Monday and was implementing the AssetLock story inside his practice yesterday and is doing it again today. It's super, super easy. And something else that I wanted to put out there as well is I'm going to be providing those who sign up with the AssetLock and connect with their coaches, ask them about getting my seminar that I personally did the $44 million in 8 months with. You will actually have access to that seminar, and I'm actually going to be doing some group training around that. It's an awesome seminar. Advisors love it. And then third thing to do is let's start building your prospecting today. It truly is easy. It's a powerful message. It's a meaningful message. And whatever your business goals are, whatever you're doing, I hope that you can see how AssetLock can help support that. We just want to hear and see your great success stories. And so let's get going on that today. But to finally kind of end is that I wanted to say that Simplicity, this is now the home of AssetLock. And in order to get AssetLock is about being a partner with Simplicity. And I just want to spend a few seconds on that. The word partnership, in my opinion, can sometimes be loosely tossed around. And for me, I am insanely passionate about helping advisors that are serious about wanting to hit their goals. And Simplicity and their vision is simply that, is to say, we want to stand next to our advisors that want to call us partner and raise their hand and be like, I've got these business goals. And yes, I'm serious about that. And it helped me get there. And AssetLock is an expression of Simplicity's commitment to doing that. And so I couldn't be more honored, more humbled to be a part of the team. And we've got amazing things lined up. And so if you're listening to this, my encouragement to you is as soon as we hang up, I don't care if you've got to push an appointment back 30 minutes, call your marketer, get on the phone, get AssetLock implemented, get your hands on the seminar, find out the ways that we're helping advisors grow their practice, and so that you can be in a position to benefit from all the amazing things that we have coming. Thanks to everybody for being here, and have an awesome day.